Hi friends, welcome to Literary Criticism class. I am Dr. Chandeshwar Yadav. In last video, I talked about what literary criticism is. But in this video, I am simply talking about history of literary criticism. So, before talking about history of literary criticism, let me remind you what literary criticism is. So, literary criticism is the comment and exposition of works of art by means of written word said by T.S. Eliot. So, even as we know that literary criticism is the analysis of any work of art, either that is painting or any piece of writing is there. Not only that, but at the same time, if we talk about some of the positive aspect, some of the negative aspect of any literary writing or any problem, that is called literary criticism. So, dear friends, as we know, literary criticism or criticism and knowledge, they both started not at the present time but in a very early time. In the very past time, both criticism and knowledge started. So, in this video, as I'm talking about that knowledge and criticism. So, knowledge and rivers are very similar, as German philosopher Hegel has said. So, river became broader and broader as they get nearer to the sea. So, just like a river, even knowledge starts in the very early time. Just like a river, now knowledge starts in the very early time, and as the time passes, as civilization handed over, going on and on, knowledge is also become complex and complex as a river become broader and broader as they come nearer to the sea. In this way, knowledge started, and as I have said you, the knowledge and history of literary criticism, those both started in the very early time. So here I'm just talking about how criticism was started and how it came to the present age. So talking about that thing, even literary criticism starts not today but during the ancient Greek criticism, or in a very past age criticism was started. So that can be classified in the following way, as the first is here ancient Greek criticism, and this ancient Greek criticism can also be classified into two phases, that is Hellenic phase and Hellenistic phase. Hellenic phase that was started in 510 BC and it was over in 323 BC, and even before that one age was there, that was Archaic age. But here I'm talking about Hellenic age that was started in 510 BC and it was completed in 323 BC. Then after Hellenistic phase was there, or Hellenistic society was there, that Hellenistic society or Hellenistic phase that was started in 323 BC and it was over in 146 BCE or 146 AD was there. Then after Greco-Roman criticism was started, and Greco-Roman criticism was started in 150 BC and it was over in 455 CE or AD. So this is about Greco-Roman criticism. And after Greco-Roman criticism, another phase was started, another stage was started, that is Dark Middle Age or Medieval Age. Sometime it is also called Dark Age or Medieval Age, that was started in 455 AD to 1485 AD, that is, or after medieval age, the new age was started, new criticism was started, and that new criticism or new type of age was started. That new type of age was Renaissance criticism, which was started in 1485 and it was completed in 1660. So that was the age of Renaissance criticism. Then after neoclassical criticism was there, that is also called Enlightenment. So this neoclassical criticism or Enlightenment was started in 1660 and it was completed in 1790. So that was, or this is, neoclassical criticism. Then after romantic criticism was there, and romantic criticism was from 1790 to 1830. And then after another age was started, another criticism was started, another history was started, that is Victorian criticism. And Victorian criticism was also started in 1832 and it was completed in 1901. Then after another age was started, modern age was started, that was started in 1914 and it was completed with the completion of the Second World War in 1945. So that was modern age. Then after postmodern era was there, postmodern criticism was there, that is still going on and it was started in 1945. So this is the brief description, this is the brief age of literary criticism and of knowledge. So dear dear friends, then let me talk about ancient Greek criticism. So ancient Greek criticism, as I said you, it can be classified into two phases. So one was Hellenic phase and another was Hellenistic phase. So Hellenic phase, that was started near about 4th century and 5th century BC in Athens. Greek forms background to all subsequent literary inquiries, and not only that, even it was the age when knowledge starts growing on. So Hellenistic people, the Hellenic people lived in classical Greek before the conquest of Philip, who was the father of Alexander the Great. So Greeks or Hellenic were isolated and the civilization was termed classic because it was very, very classical, it was very, very old. So it was said to be Hellenic. And during the Hellenic period, even many more scientists were there, many more scholars were there, many more literary art critics were there. Among them, some I'm talking here, they were Plato, Aristotle, even Heraclitus, Democritus, Pythagoras, Socrates. They were the great personality of Hellenic age, or that we term even classical age. Even as we talk, as we know, that age was the age of science, that age was the age of literature, that age was the age of politics. It means each and every aspect of human life was started during Hellenic period. And then after Hellenistic phase was there, and Hellenistic referred to the Greeks and others who lived during the period after Alexander the Conquest, or after the death of the Alexander the Great. Whatever age was there, whatever society was there, that is Hellenistic phase. And during that time, what varieties of civilization mixed together, and new form of culture was developed, new form of science was developed, new form of literature was developed. So Hellenistic phase started during the 3rd century BC, when Alexandria, Egypt, declined in Athenian culture and preserving old texts, classifying them mainly imitative, left the imitative, but they start their creativity. That was this Hellenistic phase. Then after Greco-Roman criticism was there, and Greco-Roman criticism due Rome became the center of excellence. It becomes center of politics. It becomes center of economy. No blind imitation of the Greek, but aimed at originality. Horace, who says good poetry is not inspiration but perspiration. Horace was the great poet, great critic, says good poetry is not inspiration but perspiration is there. So not only Horace but Longinus was there. Not only Longinus, even in the field of science, Zeno was there, Epicurean was there, who is said to be father of geometry, father of science. Then after the another age came, another phase came. That phase, that age is the dark middle age or medieval phase. Dark middle age, which is also called medieval phase. A break of the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. Theological interest confined literature to schoolmen and clergy. Grammar, rhetoric, and logic were all more important, as I know and I hope even you know. During the medieval age, less scientific development was there, but society was totally under the grip of religion. That's why the age is also called dark age. No creativity was there. Basically, religion and religious person were dominant in the society. That's why it is called dark age. Then after, as I hope even you know, new age was started. That was Renaissance criticism, and that was Renaissance period was there. Renaissance criticism, unprecedented spurt of literary and critical activity, great works of Greek and Rome translated. Now again, during the Renaissance period, what was the development during the classical period? What was the work done by Aristotle? What was the work done by Aristotle? What was the work done by Pythagoras? Those ideas were revived. Those concepts were revived. That's why the age become new Renaissance, which means rebirth of classical learning. So justify the imaginative literature against the attack of Puritan. And during that age, during the Renaissance, Sir Philip Sidney came, Ben Jonson came, Leonardo da Vinci came, Galileo came, Shakespeare came, and it is because of their contribution the age became the first modern age it became, and it made tremendous development in each and every aspect of life. During the Middle Age, God was everything. God and religious person was everything. But during the Renaissance period, God was nothing, but science was everything. Human concept was everything. Reasoning was everything. Man becomes center of the universe. That's why the new type of society was started. Science made tremendous development. Science made tremendous development. Even gun was developed. Even printing press was developed. Even compass was developed. So science made tremendous development during Renaissance criticism. Then after another age came, another criticism arrived, that is neoclassical criticism. And neoclassical criticism, rigid and strengthened criticism. Aristotle became literary dictator, and whatever again classical age was again emphasized here. And during that time, John Dryden, Alexander Pope, Addison, Dr. John Samuel Johnson, they were the great personality during the neoclassical criticism. Then after another age came, that is romantic criticism. And romantic criticism was a reaction against the rigidity of pseudo-classicism. Individuality, subjectivity, expression of thoughts were given importance. Emotion was given importance. Human emotion, human subjectivity, that were given much more importance during the romantic criticism, as the great romantic critics were there. Wordsworth was there. St. Coleridge was there, John Keats were there. So they made knowledge more complex and complex. Individuality was given importance, subjectivity was given importance, and the what publication of the lyrical ballad become one of the dominant book for romantic criticism, and it changed the society, it changed the concept of human being. Then another age came, that is Victorian criticism. And Victorian criticism entire disregard of rules, principle, to individualistic and mood dictated introduction of order and discipline. It means, as we have talked, that during the Victorian age, even science was growing and growing, whereas religion was fading and fading. So people were in dilemma, either to follow religion or to follow science. That was the position during the Victorian criticism. And as the great writer, great person during this Victorian criticism were Matthew Arnold, Walter Peter, Alfred Lord Tennyson, and many more were there. And even in the field of science, in the field of politics, in the field of other technology, so human society become complex and complex. Knowledge got tremendous development even during the Victorian criticism. Then after modern age came, and modern age was the age of great world war. And during the modern age, two world war happened. Even Cold War was there, Russian Revolution was there, communism was there, colonization was there. That's why it was the age of the great age, because even as just I have said you, two world war happened. Not only that, even the field of science, even the field of technology, even the field of politics, even in the field of literature, tremendous development even happened during this modern age. And the great writers, great scientists, great literary critics, they were T.S. Eliot, Karl Marx, I.A. Richards, Raymond Williams, even father of science. Science was there. Albert Einstein was there during the modern age. So, dear all, modern age became one of the great age. Then, so this is about the history of knowledge. This is the history of criticism. As now we are in the postmodern era, where you can see varieties of criticism are there, variety of knowledge is there, complexity is there, and as complexity is there, confusion is at the same time. So this is about the history of literary criticism. This is about the history of knowledge. Dear all, if you enjoy the video, please like it, subscribe it, and share it. Thank you, dear all.